We pick up from where Session 52 left off, with the party in the floating meadows above the lonely mountains of Duluk. Velikor stands in the presence of the fundamentals, engaging in a ritual that involves striking astral practice dummies in succession. Each strike manipulates a giant lock, ultimately sinking the monoliths around him. For his efforts, Velikor is bestowed with the pure power of an Astralis born, marking a new chapter in his journey. Ardentis Kython Astralis then lowers from the astral glimmer from above the party. They discuss the benefits of astral projection, and Velikor learns the unsettling truth that his father is being held under the control of Thildor, Limbo's leader. Ardentis then pulls Velikor aside for a private conversation. The discussion also touches on the fundamental artifacts, hinting at their significant role in the challenges that lie ahead. Meanwhile, Jafar seeks answers from his soul master Lysara, questioning whether Felric is out of time and if his soul is to be harvested. Instead of a direct answer, Jafar is met with an enigmatic reply. "Dost thou believe thy inquiry beeth of the rightful soul?" This seemingly hints at something that is yet to have transpired. The ambiguity of this response leaves Jafar to ponder its true meaning. Jafar expresses under his breath that he believes he is inquiring about the right soul. As the party leaves the serene yet enigmatic meadows of Duluk, they turn their thoughts to the next crucial step: how to infiltrate Torgo and launch a counterattack against Thildor. The journey back to Pran is tense, each member of the Nameless quietly strategizing and preparing for the challenges ahead. Upon returning to Pran, some time passes, and the Nameless settle down for the night, seeking rest before their next mission. During this night, Jafar once again finds himself in the familiar embrace of his childhood safe space, a refuge that now feels both comforting and disquieting. In this dreamlike state, Jafar is met by Lysara once more. She again communicates with him through a strange, ethereal text that seems to hover in the air. Her words are not spoken aloud, but appear in shimmering letters. As Jafar reads the messages, Lysara's influence stirs the ambiguity within him even further, her cryptic communication deepening the uncertainty in his reasoning. The clarity Jafar seeks remains just out of reach, as Lysara's ethereal words weave a complex web of doubt and introspection. In this surreal moment, his mind swirls with questions as he prepares for the trials that lie ahead. It is early morning, and Tepin wakes up extra early. He floats out from his bedroom window to the very top of his wizard tower. Above the city, seeing some civilians still packing up to leave. The weather is dark and rainy, pushing from the east. Tepin utters the incantation, a trigger word for his magnum opus. In an instant, Glyphs meticulously carved into walls, pillars, tavern interiors, ceilings, and countless other places throughout the city ignite with a malevolent purple glow. A symphony of echoing thuds and bangs fills the air, heralding the onset of a massacre. The city is plunged into chaos as citizens, young and old, are struck down where they stand. Families, once huddled together in safety, are torn apart as they desperately flee in vain. The streets echo with the terrible and haunting screams of people in disarray, their lives snuffed out in an instant, only to be reanimated as grotesque zombie soldiers under Teppen's dark command. As the full horror of what has transpired sinks in, the Nameless are left grappling with the weight of Teppen's unforgivable decision. Velikor, witnessing the carnage unfold, seeks out Teppen amidst the chaos. Finding him at the tower's peak, Velikor, with a mixture of desperation and sorrow, demands, "Why, Teppen, this is too far." But Teppen remains unmoved, staring straight ahead with a gaze that is no longer human, only a deep-seated stare of vengeance and evil. His silence speaks louder than words, a chilling confirmation that whatever goodness once resided within him has been consumed by his own deep-seated darkness. Teppen then floats back into his room, laying flat on his bed. In the doorway, the silhouette of Omer is seen.
"So, you did it?"
he says in a shaky yet devoted voice. Velikor, struggling to make sense of the devastation, contemplates the roles each of them plays and the unbearable cost of their actions. In a moment of profound resignation, he decides that his time as the city's champion has come to an end. Standing atop the wizard's tower, Velikor lets his crimson robes fall, watching as they spiral downward to the wet, blood-soaked streets below. A cruel and final metaphor for the city of Pran, now lost to darkness. Meanwhile, Jafar, with his heightened senses attuned to the ethereal, spies an unfathomable sight. Peering into the realm of souls, he witnesses a massive cloud of howling, ethereal spirits rising from the city's streets, their anguished cries echoing in the void. Recognizing the gravity of the moment, Jafar channels these tormented souls into himself, accepting the solemn duty bestowed upon him to decide when they may pass on or if they must remain tethered to the world. The weight of this task presses heavily upon him, but Jafar knows it is a responsibility he must bear, a final act of mercy amidst the chaos. The Nameless regroup, knowing they cannot afford to dwell on these events for long. Smore bluntly declares that once his contract is fulfilled, he will depart from the Nameless, or at least he won't want to be working with Teppen. Jafar remains focused on the larger mission, recognizing that there are bigger things at play. Venmir, weighed down by doubt, entered the chamber of the Cauldron of Creation, where the air thrummed with ancient power. The cauldron, the source of his existence, pulsed with primordial energy, a reminder of the immense purpose he had yet to grasp. As he stood there, lost in the swirl of uncertainty, a voice echoed in his mind. Ulthar's voice, distant yet commanding, resonating deep within his soul. Ulthar's disembodied presence filled Venmir's thoughts, carrying a stern message. The Nameless, fractured and chaotic, were not a mistake, but his crucible. Venmir's purpose was not something to be questioned, but something to be forged through trial and fire. The voice in his head left no room for hesitation. His path was one of struggle, where identity and purpose would be earned, not given. Seeking solace, Venmir's eyes drifted to an old jacket and lamp, relics once belonging to Mordrom. As he touched them, a connection stirred within him, offering a brief moment of comfort amidst his inner turmoil. These objects, tied to a legacy he barely understood, hinted at the strength he needed to uncover within himself. Lunaria and Velikor, both shaken by the recent events, remain largely silent, choosing instead to focus on the task at hand. With the knowledge of Thildor's involvement, the group resolves to take down this second harbinger of darkness, deducing that he likely has a stronghold in Torgo. As the party prepares to move out, they decide on a cautious approach. Jafar is teleported ahead to the deeper forests of Torgo to find a suitable clearing for their army. Within half an hour, he locates a decent spot and signals Tepin, who tears open a 30-foot malevolent gate in reality, allowing the undead troops, led by Venmir, to march into the forest clearing. With the troops in position and Bisun and his legion left to guard them, the party begins their journey toward Torgo's outer rim. After navigating busy routes, they behold the grand sight of the metropolis. The city of Torgo rises before them, a towering testament to both the power and the division that rules it. Built upon a colossal hill, the city is a masterpiece of Gothic architecture, with tall, dark walls segmenting it into 3 distinct rings. The outer ring, sprawling at the base of the hill, is where the poorer folk and farmers toil, their humble homes huddled against the towering walls that seem to both protect and imprison them. The middle ring, slightly elevated, is home to the commoners and the working class, their lives dominated by the towering structures that loom above. Here, the buildings grow taller, the streets narrower, as the city presses inward and upward. At the heart of Torgo, in the innermost ring, atop the highest point of the hill, lies the noble district. The grand castle of Emperor Emeric Strong dominates the skyline, its 8 sharp, dark spires piercing the heavens like the claws of a beast. This central fortress is both the seat of power and a symbol of the secrets and resources that the city guards jealously. The metropolis is a layered city, its tiers rising like steps toward the castle, each level representing a different class, a different life, all bound together by the towering walls that encircle them. The city is a fortress within a fortress, its darkness a reflection of the complex and often brutal hierarchy that defines it. As the party approaches the forest's edge, they find themselves at a heavily guarded checkpoint where peasants, farmers, and more well-to-do travelers in horse-drawn carriages are slowly making their way across a moat bridge. The guards, clad in dark uniforms, scrutinize each passerby with a stern gaze. Jafar, disguised as an old man, notices a small group of individuals exchanging furtive signs, a clear indication of criminal intent. Seizing the opportunity, Jafar discreetly stashes a knife on one of these men, ensuring it will fall during the security inspection. As the criminals in front of them approach the checkpoint, the knife slips from one of the men's robes, clattering to the ground and immediately drawing the guards' attention. The guards shift their focus to the source of the disturbance, providing a brief but crucial distraction. The nameless, ever resourceful, use this moment of chaos to slip past the guards unnoticed, successfully infiltrating the city. Once inside, the nameless pass through the first gate and enter the forest's edge, where the remnants of an exploded gate bear silent witness to recent violence. The Blue Cloaks are hard at work, dealing with the aftermath and restoring order to the area. In the lower South Skept, the party encounters Pele, a local with a keen eye for opportunity who takes a particular interest in Lunaria's beauty. In exchange for gold, Pele promises to secure their entry to the next ring through a secret passage. He outfits them with ponchos made from potato sacks, a crude disguise as they prepare to navigate the city's underbelly. the group is flung through the vast pipes of the sewer system, eventually landing in an underground dumping area. There, they have a rather calm encounter with members of a thieves' guild before emerging onto the common streets of Low Grove. As they push forward, they find themselves outside the gates of the Noble Ward, where the Grand Road is bustling with activity. Vast crowds fill the streets, some going about their evening routines, while others seem drawn toward the looming gates of the city's elite. Session 53 concludes with the Nameless standing at the threshold of Torgo's upper districts, a sense of hope beginning to stir within them, even in the shadow of the grim events they have endured.